I'm about to read A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and I am nervous. The second book ended in such a painful way that I'm so fortunate to have bought both the books at the same time, because now I can read this one and have my heart break only a little bit. And so my expectations are of course really high, because the first and second book have both been 5-star books for me. And so yeah, I'm just like really hyped about it. And so like from my understanding, this one is basically about, we know Evangeline, she doesn't have her memories anymore. And so she's kind of like in the happily ever after with Apollo, but she doesn't know what Apollo did. She doesn't know what happened. And so there's kind of that going on. And then like Apollo wants to kill Jax, probably because like he knows like the relationship that he and Evangeline had together. And so like he's gonna kill Jax, and then like we don't know what's gonna happen. It's the final book, so I'm really excited. So let's just crack it open. But wait, we know the drill. This is the hardcover. All hardcover books that have these little dust covers, they gotta go. So let's see if there's a picture into this one. The last one was like the little archer symbol, which is cool. Aww, that one's cute. Cute little heart at the bottom. This is cute. I like this. Very subtle. So let's crack it open for real now. So I'm about 100-ish pages into A Curse for True Love, and it's really cool because you don't just get like Evangeline's perspective, you also get Apollo and Jax so far, and I'm like, this is great. Like I really like the kind of addition, because it's always been written in third person, but it only ever focused on Evangeline. But now we get like different perspectives from different characters. So Evangeline, obviously she doesn't have her memories, and so she's like really struggling trying to like figure out like who she is, like how does she know these people, like what happened. Like she has these intense feelings when stuff kind of reminds her of her missing memories. So like for instance, when the story, the ballad and the archer is mentioned, she feels like really like hurt inside, but she can't remember why. And like it's just like really hard for her because like, yeah. And then it's also really cool to learn about Apollo's character, because like we never really knew anything real about him, because like he was under the love curse and then he was under the archer curse. And so now we actually get to see Apollo. And I think he's really interesting because like he's sort of like the villain, but he's also like trying to do the right thing, but like in a twisted way that makes sense to him. Like he's trying to protect Evangeline, but he's being like overprotective of Evangeline, and he's like doing all these outrageous things to try to like keep her away from danger by putting her in danger. But like it makes sense because when we get his perspective, like it seems rational, but then like when you step out, you're like, that's not really rational, but like you can see why he thinks that. And I think that that's really neat. And Jax, I am so happy we get Jax's perspective now, because like we know for sure that he loves Evangeline, and so like now I can actually see like his thoughts and interacting with her, and it's like it's so good, especially like the interactions where she doesn't know who he is, but like she knows, but he knows who she is. And it's just like my heart, it just makes my heart so wiggly. It's like in Ruthless Vows when Iris and Roman were like communicating, but like Roman didn't know who Iris is, but Iris knew who Roman was. It's like that kind of thing, like the memory loss then. So I'm going to continue to read this, and I'm going to update you on the halfway mark and let you know like what's up with Evangeline and Jax and Apollo, and like where are we at right now, and is my heart gonna break into 100 million pieces again? Who knows? But we'll find out soon. See you in my next update. I'm now about halfway through A Curse for True Love, and things are getting intense. The Valors are, I don't know, I don't trust them. They're up to something. They want to basically like fix up Marywood, which was like destroyed by like Vengeance and the Slaughterwoods and all that. And so like the dad is like trying to make these announcements, trying to get people to join him with that. And then there's also like the hunt that's happening, which is based off of like an old tradition that the Valors used to do, where they would basically like hunt down a unicorn. They wouldn't kill it, but it's if you catch the unicorn, you basically get a half wish, which nobody really knows what a half wish is. So there's that. And then there's like Aurora Valor, who's like, I think she's definitely up to something. Like she's kind of following around Evangeline, like popping in at random times. So I don't know if I trust her or if she's actually like a good person. I'm not entirely sure, but I really like her as a character either way. And then of course, like what's happening with Apollo, like he's really starting to go down, but he thinks he's doing the right thing. He's like, I don't like to kill people, but like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And like, I think like before he was just like, the choices, you can really understand why he's making them, but then like once you start to go down that rabbit hole of bad choice after bad choice, it's becoming easier and easier for him to continue to make bad choices. Because like from Apollo's perspective, right, like he's doing everything he can to protect Evangeline because he doesn't actually know the real story of Evangeline and Jax, whereas us the readers, like we know the actual story between them, and so it puts Apollo in like the villain light, but he doesn't think he's the villain. And of course the gorgeous tension of this book between Evangeline and Jax, who she thinks right now he's going by Archer, and she's like, Archer, like she's thinking of Archer when she's kissing Apollo, like just everything about it, like this is so good. Like I honestly wish that this wasn't YA. I wish that this was adult fantasy, because then like you can really add in like the spice factor, but like the tension is so good because like she can't kiss him because his kiss is deadly, and so it's just like so good. There's like 3 books of like, oh my goodness, like we want them to be together, and it's like makes my heart just like yes. So right now Evangeline is in the cursed forest, and essentially what happened is that when you go into the cursed forest, you kind of like relive the best day of your life, but then you kind of get stuck in a loop, and so she's basically trying to see the faces of her parents, but she can't find them. Like she hears them, and then like she'll run one way, but then she hears them from the other way and she's running back that way. So that's where I am right now, and it's really interesting to be able to see like more of her like kind of backstory, and then how I'm really excited to see how Jax is gonna somehow find his way over into wherever she is, because like he can always find her, and it makes me so happy. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. So yeah, I'm going to continue to read, and I'm going to update you either like towards the end or when I finish the book as usual. And so I will update you then, and I'm excited, and I hope that they get their happy ending. Last night I finished A Curse for True Love, and I'm honestly a little bit disappointed about the ending. So what I'm disappointed about is, and maybe there's other books coming in the series that I'm not aware of, and that's why, but if there aren't, then there's a lot of like unfinished pieces that I would love to see the resolution for. Luke's story, he's a vampire, but like he went on the run like after, like they were like, oh wait, that's an imposter, and he like ran away. But nothing ever came to like, where did he go, what happened to him? And the same for like her stepsister. Like by the second book, she just wasn't there anymore, and I'm like, but what about the end of her story? Like what happens to her? Like where does she go? Like what happened? And then also with Apollo's brother Tiberius, like why did he torture his brother? Like why did he whip him? Didn't get info about that. But also like where did he go? Like, do we get to learn more about him? Also with Lala's story, like her dragon shifter finally came back and then she's like, actually, I don't think I want him anymore. But like there was no conclusion to that, and I would have loved a conclusion for that. So maybe there's gonna be a book about Lala, maybe there's gonna be a book about Luke and the stepsister. I really hope so, because like I feel like there's just like it wasn't tied up. Also with Castor and like the rest of his family, like we didn't get a real resolution for Castor. He like killed an entire family line and like he didn't really have any repercussions for that, and like he never really controlled his vampire urges. So I really hope that there's a book about Castor, because like I really like him. He has a lot of great potential and his story just doesn't feel done yet. Same with like his parents. But also like the Valors, they're on the, like they have the throne now, like Wulfric and his wife and like all the siblings and stuff are there. And like I really feel like there has to be something, because like he's on the throne, but like why were the Valors like put in the Valerie Arch to begin with? Like they said they're very power hungry, and now they're in power again, so how is that going to affect the world that they all live in? So I'm really hoping that there's a book for that as well. Also, Evangeline is like a human and Jax is immortal, so like is she just gonna die one day and he's just gonna have to mourn her loss, or is he gonna find a way to make her a fate, or is she gonna become immortal? I honestly thought like when they had that tree, like the immortal tree, that that's how she was gonna become immortal, but like she was just immortal. So like I don't know, I just want to know like what happens with her and Jax's relationship, like when she gets old. Is it gonna be like Infernal Devices where it's just really, really sad? Or is it gonna be more like ACOTAR where she turns into immortal as well and just lives her days like with her love? I don't know, but I wanna know. However, despite all of those like unfinished pieces that I'm hoping are just gonna be like books later, like kind of like how ACOTAR and like Crescent City does, I did enjoy this book a lot still. Like just watching Jax and Evangeline, just the way they interact and like their love and like the tension, like all of that. My heart really, really likes it. I really do wish that this was an adult fantasy romance book, because like I would have loved to see a scene where Jax and Evangeline finally get intimate with each other, because that never happened really like in the book. There was definitely like they almost did and then like they didn't, but like if it was an adult book, imagine like how good that would be. But yeah, I had a lot of fun reading this, and I think that I would give A Curse for True Love 4 stars. Which is a little bit disappointing, right? Because like the first 2 books were 5 stars hands down, but this one just, there's so many like unfinished, it's unfinished business. And if there are other books, then I'll knock it up to 5 stars. But right now, like it's not complete. It doesn't feel like it's complete. And there are way too many like what ifs, like what happened to X, Y, and Z. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking right now. So I hope that you'll join me for the 4th and final part of this series, where I talk about all 3 books as a whole. So the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, my thoughts on it, including spoilers. Oh, I also learned that Once Upon a Broken Heart is a spin-off from the Caraval series, so I'm gonna have to read that as well. In the meantime, I'm gonna be reading A Way of Kins by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm really excited about this because I loved the Mistborn series when I was a teenager, and I've only ever heard good things about this, and it has maps in it. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. Upcoming videos will include the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy and my thoughts, my complete thoughts on it, as well as a reading blog for A Way of Kins. So I'm very excited about that. And if you're excited about that as well, don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!